Right, myself, I'm Srinivas, having 16 plus years experience on domain Unix administrator on Sun Solaris, HP Unix, IBM AX. I worked on storage, SAN, NAS, Veritas Volume Manager, Veritas Cluster, Net Backup. Now I'm into the cloud, AWS DevOps, Azure DevOps. So today class, we're discussing about Linux administration or Unix administration, whatever it may be. So what is Unix or Linux? Basically, it is an operating system. So everyone knows what is operating system. What is operating system? It's a software. It's a piece of software which interact with the hardware devices. You want to access any hardware component like keyboard, mouse, monitor, any hardware devices, we need a software. That software we call as a operating system. Operating systems are classified as three types. One is single user, single tasking. Single user, single tasking. Single user, multitasking. Multi-user, multitasking. So before we start this is the Linux administration. The course duration is 40 days. Will be covered SA1. SA1 stands System Administration Paper 1. In Linux, there are certification RSCA stands Red Hat Certified System Administrator, RSC SA. Red Hat Certified Red Hat Certified System Administrator. This is RSCA. Red Hat Certified Administrator. And this is System Administrator. Both the papers will be covered. One is SA1, System Administration Paper 1. SA2, System Admin Paper 2. NEA. NEA stands Network Administration. Who are the audience to learn this SA1, SA2, SA3? Anyone can learn, any degree eligible. No programming skills required. To learn this SA1 or SA2, mandatory required Linux fundamentals. This Linux fundamentals nothing but SA1. We'll start with SA1, Linux fundamentals. Anyone can learn, no programming skills required, no background is required, any degree eligible. So we'll cover both RSCA and RSCSA. These are comes under certification. Which version you are going to learn? Linux, Red Hat, or CentOS? Version 7, 7.0 and 8.0 as well. Both 7.0 and 8.0. 8.0 is a current and latest version, but still some application databases running on 7.0. So we'll be covered both 7.0 and 8.0. Right. So operating systems are classified as single user, single tasking, single user multitasking, and multi-user multitasking. Can anyone tell example for single user, single tasking? Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. All these are, sorry, single user, single tasking, that is called DOS. DOS stands disk operating system. When Microsoft developed operating system 1987, 1988, they came with operating system called DOS, disk operating system. This is called single user, single task. Only one user can log in, only one task can be executed at a time. Let us take an example. Go to command prompt. Go to command prompt. How to go to command prompt in Windows? At the command prompt, type CMD. This is called as a disk operating system. This is called as a DOS. This is called as a DOS, disk operating system. Only one user can log in, only one task can be executed. DIR, to see the files and folders. CLS, clear the screen. MD, make folder. CD, change folder. This is called single user, single task. When Microsoft developed operating system, the first OS is disk operating system. It was single user, single task. Example for single user multitask. Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. All these are single user multitask. In my laptop, all the laptop desktops are Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. Only one user can log in at a time. How to check that who is logged in? Click here. You can see the username. We can only one user can log in at a time. All the ATM machines are also single user. All the ATM machines are also single user. Only one user can log in at a time. And multi-user multitasking. Example, server operating systems like Windows 2012, 2012, Windows 2016, 2016, Windows 2019, 2019. These are comes under server operating systems. And also all Unix flavors, all Unix operating systems are multi-user. So there comes under multi-user multitasking. Flipkart, Amazon, Facebook, all these are multi-user multitasking. So operating systems are classified as three types: single user, single task, and single user multitasking, and multi-user multitasking. Now we'll see which are comes under graphical user interface, which are comes under command line. There are two types of ways: graphical user interface. We call it as a GUI mode, graphical user interface. The other one is CLI, command line interface. Those are Microsoft Windows and Unix. Windows, everything is graphical. Unix, everything is command line. Which are comes under Microsoft family. Which are comes under Microsoft family. We also call flavors of Windows. What are those? Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. Microsoft has been classified as two types, client OS and server OS. Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, all these are client OS. Which are server operating system? Just now we discussed Windows 2012, Windows 2016, Windows 2019. These are comes under server operating system. So these are called client and these are server. Which are comes under flavors of Unix, Unix flavors, Linux, Solaris, HP Unix, IBM AX, Macintosh, AppleTalk, Digital Unix, SCO Unix, 264 Unix, NCR Unix, Mac OS, all this comes under server operating systems. Okay. So Microsoft has been classified as two types, client OS and server OS. What is client? What is server? Why we call as a client? The difference between client and server, client is a single user. A laptop is single user, desktop is single user, only one user can log in at a time. Whereas server is a multi-user. Facebook, Gmail, Yahoo, Flipkart, Amazon, net banking applications, all these multi-user. User can log in at a time. Client cannot share the resources. On my laptop, I like to share my data with you people. I cannot share. Why? Because my laptop is a client. Your laptop. What is the solution? Upload to gmail.com, yahoo.com. To Gmail or Yahoo, we can share the data. What is Gmail, Yahoo? Those are server operating system, or Google Drive, or Skype. Skype or Google Drive, all these are server operating systems. So server can share the resources. That is the difference between client and server. So you want to deploy any application like web application or database, we need a server operating system, not the client OS. The system name in Windows we call computer name. Windows system name we call as a computer name. How to see the computer name? Go to this PC properties. Go to this PC properties where you can see the what computer name. The system name in Unix we call as a host name. Microsoft we call computer name, Unix we call as a host name. Microsoft has been classified as two types, client OS and server OS. When I come into the Unix, Which are clients, which are servers. In Unix, no clients. All are server operating systems. All are server operating system. Unix, no client. So what do you mean by host? Host always server. Host cannot be a client. For example, air hostess. What is the job of air hostess? Serve the client request. So host always server. Host cannot be a client. In my laptop, if I install Windows 7, Windows 8, I call my computer as a client. I call my laptop as a client. Why? Because I install the client operating system. On the same laptop, if you install 2012, 2016, 2019, I call my laptop as a server. Why? Because I install the server operating system. So we can configure a computer as a client. We can configure computer as a server based on what Microsoft family you install. But we never install 2012, 2016, 2019 in a laptop because the server operating system required more resources, more number of CPUs, more memory. Required more memory, more number of CPUs. We need a high configuration. But Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, I can install with 2 GB RAM with one processor. Yes, we can also install Windows 2012, 2016, 2019 in a laptop, but it takes more time to load the operating system because they require more resources. That's why the real time these server operating system always install on higher end server where we have 32 GB RAM, 64 GB RAM, 4 CPUs, 32 CPUs. So all the applications are installed on this server. Where the Unix, if I install Linux or Solaris, Unix in my laptop, I call my laptop. Why? Because all these are server operating systems, no clients. All these are server operating systems. So that is the difference between client and server. So going forward, we will discuss where we use client operating system and where we use server operating system. Right. Next, what is the like one is called monolithic device driver. The other one we call modular device drivers. Device drivers are two types, monolithic and modular. So what is the difference between monolithic and modular? Monolithic means we cannot change, cannot be add or cannot be removed. We cannot install, we cannot uninstall. That is called monolithic. What is modular? A module can be add, a module can be removed. We can install the module, we can uninstall the module. That is difference between monolithic and modular. What is the best example for monolithic? We cannot uninstall it, we cannot remove it. In mobile, we are going. What is that? IOS. Right. What is stands? And monolithic. We can't uninstall it, we cannot remove it. So this is the best example for monolithic. Every mobile has operating system. We can't uninstall it. What any apps downloading from Play Store, this comes under the mobile. It comes with the default apps. Like apps we cannot uninstall it. We cannot uninstall it. That is called as a monolithic. Whatever the apps you're downloading from Play Store, this comes under modular. That is the difference between modular. Is it monolithic or modular? It's a combination of both. It is not under modular. Am I clear? It is not 100% monolithic, not 100% modular. The kernel is monolithic. That is called operating system. Remaining everything is modular. Audible, everyone? Hello, am I clear? Anand? Okay. Right. So we understood now what is monolithic, what is modular. Let us discuss about Windows architecture and Unix architecture. If you're learning Windows administration, Windows admin, we need to understand what is Windows architecture. While learning Unix or Linux, you need to understand Unix architecture. So there is a hardware. On top of that, there is a kernel. On top of the kernel, you are the user. So first hardware. On top of that, you are installing operating system. That is called kernel. On top of that, you are the user. In Microsoft, user always interact with the kernel, and the kernel will interact with the hardware. What is kernel? It's nothing but operating system. Kernel or operating system both are same. Every OS has its own kernel. Every OS has its own kernel. First of all, how do you define the kernel? A kernel is a software which interacts with the hardware device. Next, a kernel is the file which contains all system drivers. So every OS has its own kernel. What is kernel? It's a file. It's a file which contains all system drivers. What are those? In Linux, the name of the kernel in Linux we call VM Linux. VM Linux is the kernel file. In Solaris, the name of the kernel we call Unix is the kernel file. In Windows, the name of the kernel we call command.com and io.6. Both the files we called as a kernel. So what is the kernel? It's a file which contains all system drivers, which are called system drivers. Example for system drivers. Whenever I install operating system in laptop or desktop, some drivers are automatically installed. Those are called device drivers. Go to device manager. Go to device manager. Audio, battery, Bluetooth, camera, computer, hard disk, display, monitor, DVD, all these drivers are by default installed at the time of installation of operating system. This is called as a device drivers. Where these drivers are in the file io.6. Are you going to install these drivers manually? No, it automatically installed during installation. Can we uninstall the hard disk driver? Can we uninstall the monitor driver? Can we uninstall the processor driver? No, it won't allow you to uninstall. These drivers are system drivers. What are the drivers? System drivers. System drivers, we cannot uninstall it. We cannot remove it. So what is kernel? Kernel always monolithic. Kernel cannot be uninstalled. Kernel cannot be removed. What is command.com? Command.com nothing but a command prompt. This is called command.com, where we can run the commands. dir to see the files, cls play the screen, cd change directory, md make directory. All these commands are in the command.com. What is command.com? Nothing but a kernel. So we have discussed Microsoft family, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. For all Microsoft family, the kernel is same because the kernel is monolithic. You cannot uninstall it, you cannot remove it. That's why we call it as a flavors of Windows. We also call Microsoft family. Coming to the Unix architecture or components of Unix. So there's a hardware, kernel, shell, and user. On top of the hardware, kernel. On top of the kernel, a shell. On top of the shell, you have the user. This is the basic difference between Windows architecture, Unix architecture. What is that? No shell in Microsoft, shell only in Unix. What is shell? A shell is a command interpreter. A shell is a command interpreter. A shell is interface between the user and the kernel, meaning whatever the commands executed by the user, it first goes to shell. Shell will check the syntax and semantics. If the shell understands the command, execute the command, pass to the kernel. In Microsoft, user can directly interact with the kernel. In Unix, user cannot directly interact with the kernel. Will always interact with the shell. In Unix, we have a commands like ls, list the files, pwd, present working directory, where these commands are not in the kernel, these are in the shell. Because of the shell, no virus for Unix. We never heard about virus for Unix. Virus only for Microsoft, no virus for Unix. The reason, because of the shell. So this is the basic difference between Windows architecture and Unix architecture. Why we call flavors of Unix? Because for all flavors of Unix, the kernel remains same. Kernel is monolithic. You cannot uninstall it, you cannot remove it. These commands like ls, pwd, clear, these commands I can run any Unix family. Whereas in Windows we have dir, cls, clear the screen. These commands we can run any Microsoft family. Where these commands are in the kernel, but here these commands are not in the kernel, in the shell. So because of no virus for Unix, we always prefer database applications on Unix servers rather than Windows. When the kernel is same, you can ask why we call Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, because those are upgrade operating systems. Adding some new features, nothing but adding some modules on the kernel. We cannot uninstall the kernel, but module can be added, module can be removed. So all these are upgrade versions. If you take mobile, you cannot uninstall your operating system like Android or iOS. We can't uninstall it, but we can upgrade it. That is the difference between Windows family and Unix family. In order to work on Microsoft family, I need a mouse. Without mouse, we can't able to work. If you want to work on Unix family, I need a keyboard. Without keyboard, we can't able to work. So this is called command line, CLI, command line interface. Clear, ls, pwd, all these are Unix commands. So these commands we can run any Unix family. So that is the difference between Windows architecture and Unix architecture. Let us take an example. We have a cool drink. What are the flavors like Pepsi, Thumbs Up, Coca-Cola? There are so many flavors. Why we call flavors of cool drink? Because there is some monolithic in the cool drink. What is the meaning of monolithic? Which cannot be changed, which cannot be removed. What is that? Water. We cannot remove the water, we cannot change the water. That's why we call it as a flavors of cool drink. What is difference between cool drink and Pepsi? Cool drink is a trademark. It's a trademark or generic word. I should tell the flavor. If I say cool drink, no meaning for that. You have to tell the flavor. How do we know that the cool drink is Pepsi or Thumbs Up? Only by seeing the label. If you remove the label, we don't know is it a Pepsi or Thumbs Up, right? Similarly, here I install Windows, but there's no meaning for Windows. I should tell the flavor. Is it Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10? Windows is the trademark. I should tell the flavor. So how do we come to know that? Is it Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10? Go to this PC properties. What is Windows 10? Without going to these properties, we don't know what Microsoft family it is. If you are a Windows administrator looking for a job on Windows platform, if you go to Naukri, they clearly mention that we need Windows 2016 administrators, server operating system, or Windows 2019 administrator. They won't mention that we need Windows administrator. Windows is the trademark. I should tell the flavor. If you're looking for a job on Linux tomorrow, you can't see the post Naukri like Unix administrator. They have to mention the flavor. Requirement on Linux with 0 to 5 years experience. Requirement on Solaris with 10 to 15 years experience. Less than 10, no jobs on Solaris. HP, IBM AX. They mention clearly 10 to 15 years experience. Unless without 10 to 15 years, you won't get the job on Solaris. Because Solaris HP 20 years back, they released. They clearly mention Naukri, Linux administrator, Solaris administrators, HP administrator. They won't tell that, they won't mention that we need Unix administrator. Because Unix is the trademark. I should tell the flavor. So don't think that Linux is different, Unix is different. Like no difference between Pepsi and cool drink, no difference between Linux and Unix. Under Unix, there are so many flavors. Right. So tomorrow you joined as a Windows administrator. They'll give the laptop to you, where Windows 7, Windows 10 is installed, Windows 7 or 10. But we are going to connect to the server. The servers are Windows 2012, Windows 2016, Windows 2019. Where these servers are on internet. Maybe AWS cloud, Azure cloud, on internet. I don't know where these servers are. So how do you log into this server from Windows client? So we need a protocol that is called RDP. RDP stands Remote Desktop Protocol. RDP stands Remote Desktop Protocol. With the help of this RDP protocol, we are able to connect to the Windows server from Windows client. So when the client is Windows, server also Windows, we call it as homogeneous. Homogeneous means same Microsoft family. Both are same Microsoft family. Client is Windows, server also Windows. We call it as a homogeneous. So what protocol are required? RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol. In order to connect to the server operating system from the client, we need a software or protocol RDP. When the clients are Unix, that could be any flavor, Linux, Solaris, HP Unix, any flavor, and server also Unix. where the server is on internet, maybe AWS cloud or Azure cloud. Then when the client is Unix server, also Unix, we call it as a homogeneous. Why? Because same Unix family, the kernel is same. Windows to Windows, the kernel is same Microsoft family, that is called homogeneous. Windows kernel is, everything is graphical mode. Unix kernel, everything is command line. But in the real time, most of the cases, tomorrow you join as a Linux administrator, you don't know where the servers, Linux servers are. The laptop is Windows, desktop is Windows. We are going to connect to the Unix servers or Linux servers. This is called heterogeneous. We people are going to log into the servers on internet, Linux servers from Windows client. So what protocol you require here? SSH, stands secured shell. When the client is Windows, server also Windows, we need RDP, remote desktop protocol. When the clients are Windows, servers are Linux or Unix, we need a protocol, SSH, secured shell. Here, I log into the Linux server from Windows client. My laptop is Windows, my desktop is Windows. I log into the server from Windows client. This is called heterogeneous. Is it a Linux or Windows? Definitely it's a Linux. Why? Because CLI, command line. No graphical, no desktop. Everything is command line. But if it's a Unix, not a Linux, it's a Unix. Any flavor. It could be a Solaris, it could be HP Unix, it could be IBM AX. But how do you come to know that it's a Linux? There's a command, uname -s. Tomorrow when you join as a Linux administrator or Unix administrator, the very first command you have to execute that what flavor of Unix it is. So how to come to know that? Run the command uname -s. It shows that what flavor of Unix it is. Because the server is Linux, that's why we're able to see that output Linux. If it is Sun Solaris, we'll see the output as a Sun OS. If it is HP server, HP Unix. Without typing this command, we don't know what Unix family it is. So how I log into this Linux server on internet from Windows client through SSH, secure shell. The real time, as a Linux administrator, will always log into the servers on internet from Windows client, that is called heterogeneous. We people are going to work in the real time only in heterogeneous environment, where clients always Windows, servers always Linux. Next. In the real time, so no difference between Unix and Linux, don't get confused. Either Unix or Linux, both are same, like Pepsi and cool drink. So in the real time, Windows always front end. Unix or Linux always back end. What is the difference between front end and back end? Front end means you're able to see that your laptop is a front end where Windows is installed. Your desktops are front end where Windows is installed. If you go to ATM, all the ATM machines are front end where Windows is installed. Do you think that ATM, the operating system is Linux? No, it's a Windows. Why? It is graphical mode, touch screen, user friendly. So all the ATM machines are Microsoft. Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10. That is called front end. You have physical access, you're able to see that. Backend. Backend means what? We can't able to see these servers. These servers are on internet. So backend here, nothing but a database. Backend nothing but your database. Database we never preferred on Windows. Database we always preferred on Unix or Linux. Unix means any flavor, either Linux or Solaris or Unix, any flavor. Database we never preferred on Windows. What is database here? To log in as ATM user, you're able to see how much amount you have, where the data is in the database server, where database installed on Linux server. If you log into the gmail.com, yahoo.com, you're able to see the mails, where the mails are in database, where database installed on Linux. Can you able to see the database, where database installed? No, because these are backend. Because database always backend, because database always installed on Linux server, that's why Linux always backend. If you go to ATM, all the ATM machines are Windows. You go to airlines reservations, railway reservations, bus reservations, wherever we go, our physical access only Windows. We don't know where the servers. That is called backend. Difference between front end and backend. Now the question comes, why we prefer database always on Unix or Linux? Why not Windows? As we discussed earlier, the first difference is virus. Virus only for Microsoft, no virus for Unix. The second one is downtime. Unix or Linux, no downtime, zero downtime. Zero means no downtime. What is this downtime? Suppose you are Windows administrator working on Windows server. There was some issue on the server, you are trying to resolve that issue, but you are not able to resolve. I tried one day, more than one day, but the issue not resolving. Finally, I have to mail to the project manager saying that so-and-so issue not resolving. What they will tell? Reboot the operating system. If you reboot it, all the problems will be resolved. Sometimes your mobile will hang. What is the solution? Power of it, reboot it. If you reboot, all the problems will be resolved. Only one solution for that. What is that? Reboot the server. What is the problem if I reboot my database production server? They're going to take minimum 3 to 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours to up the server, to up the system. So 3 to 4 hours, no one can access my application. 3 to 4 hours, Google Pay, Phone Pay, those are called downtime. That will impact on business. No one can use the Gmail, no one can use Google Pay, Phone Pay. It will impact on the business. But Unix servers we never shut down, we never reboot. These are called robust. Robust means no downtime. Because of no downtime, because of no virus, database will always preferred on Unix or Linux. So if you start your career as Windows administrator with 1 year experience, let us say your package is 2.5. 1.5 to 2.5. They won't give much more than this. 1.5 to 2 lakhs. Whereas same 1 year experience on Linux, a package starts from 3.5 to 4 lakhs. $3.5 to 4 lakhs. There's no scope on Windows Administrator. There's no scope on Windows Administrator. Lot of scope on Linux Administrator. Initially, you have to start your career as Linux Administrator, but don't stop with Linux Admin. After Linux Admin, learn the cloud, AWS Cloud, Azure Cloud. After that, learn DevOps. So don't stop your learning with Linux Admin. After Linux, learn cloud and learn DevOps. So DevOps nowadays buzzword, lot of demand for DevOps. DevOps required a cloud and cloud required Linux admin. So who are the audience for learning cloud DevOps? Linux administrator. Once you finish the course, you can apply as level 1. L1 stands level 1. Level 1 means 0 to 2 years experience. This comes under level 1. You can apply level 2. Three years experience. Level 3, 5+ experience. 4 or 5+ experience. In every topic, we are going to discuss what type of issues we are going to face in the real time, how to resolve the issues. Basically, we never get a chance to install the operating system. Operating system will install only one time. Or tomorrow, if you join as Linux administrator, those servers are already installed. You never get a chance to install the OS. So you should be in the position to troubleshoot the problems. What type of issues we are going to face in the real time, how to resolve the issues, we are going to discuss in every topic in Linux administration part. So once you complete the course, you are eligible for level 1, you are eligible for level 2. I can teach you level 3 also, but the problem is, instead of going for level 3, you better learn DevOps. In DevOps, level 3 topics will be covered in DevOps. As a Linux administrator, level 1 up to 4 years experience, whatever knowledge we are going to gain within 40 days, that we can keep 0 to 4 years experience. Because earlier when there was no DevOps, when there was no cloud, I used to take the topics for level 3 also. But nobody showing interest on Linux to go for level 3. Everyone, after completion on Linux, everyone is going for DevOps or cloud. But I'm sure with whatever knowledge you are gaining after 40 days, you are eligible for up to 3 to 4 years experience. Any questions? What is the job of level 1? Level 1 is installation. There are so many types of installation. Installation with graphical mode, installation with command line, installation with LVM, with installation with standalone partitions, without LVM. There are so many types of installation. And monitoring. Disk monitoring, CPU monitoring, services monitoring, network monitoring, user monitoring. There is a job of level 1. The job is only monitoring. So there are some commands to monitor the RAM, to monitor the memory, to monitor the processor, to monitor the network, to monitor the services, to monitor the users. For everything, there is a separate commands are there. Instead of that, if I install and configure Nagios, we can monitor everything. User friendly, no commands, only graphical. What is the job of level 2? Servers configuration, network, servers configuration like FTP, file transfer protocol, NFS, network file system, DNS, DHCP, all the servers configuration comes under level 2. You should be strong in the networking for level 2. You have to resolve the network issues. You have to resolve the firewalls issues. All this comes under level 2. With the same experience, we can also apply for level 3 because level 3 also server configuration. So we are eligible for level 1, level 2, level 3. Rather than learning level 3, advanced services like patching, upgradation, all this comes under level 3. Rather than going for level 3, better go for cloud with DevOps. So don't waste your time for learning level 3. Level 1, level 2 is enough to go for cloud or DevOps. So your target should be go for advanced cloud or DevOps. For that, Linux administration is the prerequisite. Of course, you want to join a Linux administrator, you can join with 0 to 4 years experience. Right. Any questions? I have 6 years experience, non-IT, and will this course help me? Yes, but don't keep 6 years experience on Linux. Keep 3 years experience. For 3 years experience, that knowledge is enough for 3 to 4 years, up to 4 years experience. So we have a training part and a placement and support. I'll give the soft copy, the running notes, and you'll get the videos. Every day, they'll forward the videos, recorded sessions. You can go through that. Right. Any questions? Okay, tomorrow they're going to start SA1, System Administration Paper 1. System Administration Paper 1, which is Linux Fundamentals, Linux Basics. This is for 10 days. Comes under SA1. Once you complete the basics, we'll go for SA2. Shell scripting, support, admin, coder, NetScore. Yes. We'll also cover shell scripting bot, but not in this course. Shell scripting is separate course. Shell scripting separate course, which is 1 month duration. Which is 1 month duration. Maybe I'll start after 2 or 3 weeks the shell scripting. But shell script is not part of your Linux administration. It is not the part of your Linux administration. Shell scripting is a separate course, separate fee structure, and duration is separate. Once you complete the 15 days of Linux administration, you can go for shell scripting. You can do parallel. After 50% of Linux administration, you can start shell scripting. You can do parallel. So I'm planning basically 9 AM Linux administration and 10 AM, sorry, not AM, PM. And 10 to 11 shell scripting. Or After completion of Linux 9 p.m., we'll start the same time shell script. So first complete the Linux administration before we start the shell script. Right. So tomorrow, same time, same link. Any questions? Right.